He's back, ladies and gentlemen, after a well-deserved summer vacation. Luke Willson, our NFL analyst, is here with us for the first edition of Luke Who's Talking of this NFL season. We're going to get into so much with you. One of the big topics to start the season. These holdouts or hold-ins, they're calling them. You got Dak, and you've got Ja'Marr Chase. And Ja'Marr Chase says he wants a new contract. He's got 2 years left on his deal. He practiced for the first time this week on Wednesday. It's an awkward situation for everybody. First, let's listen to Bengals head coach Zac Taylor.
At what point is there a certain time that he needs to practice in order for y'all to feel good about him playing?
Yeah, we'll see. We're not there yet.
But is there a deadline that even exists?
No, we'll see.
What are the challenges of a guy not practicing all week and then playing on game day?
Well, we deal with this all the time with injuries. You know, where guys are limited through the week or don't practice during the week. And our guys have always done a great job in the meetings of being responsible for it. I think we do a good job teaching that, walking through it. So, again, there's a lot of ways to get people ready to play in a game.
Throughout this process, you've been confident in the dialogue you've had with Ja'Marr. Is that still the case today?
Yes.
Are you hoping for any kind of finite resolution regarding Ja'Marr's situation by the end of this week?
I'm not making any predictions. I'm just taking it day to day.
Yeah, great to have him back. Great player. You know, a guy that we need to be our best.
How long does it take Ja'Marr to get football ready and get in sync with you, do you think?
He's ready to go.
Right now?
Yep.
I guess my first question is, does Joe Burrow have frosted tips?
He does, and you know what? As much as it looks ridiculous, I'm digging it, man.
Yeah.
Let it go. Let's go.
Should we, at one point this season, dial him up?
Do not twist my arm.
I will if you will.
Do not twist my arm.
I will if you will. Frosted tips at some point this season. We'll come up with something to make it a little more interesting. I thought Zac Taylor handled that about as well as a head coach could handle things there. But overall, you know, having been in locker rooms like this, what's your take on this situation right now?
It's tough, and no one really wins. And, you know, you look at it from a head coach or the front office, and you say, you know, this guy signed a deal. Like, you know, in what world can you say, I'm not going to, you know, perform to the deal that I signed my name on? But on the flip side, as a player, you know, our thoughts are, if we get injured or we get hurt or we start playing bad, they can cut us and get out of this deal. So that's kind of where this comes from. What I would say that is tough, you know, talking about Coach Taylor there, is like, you look at this division that the Bengals are playing in. And take last year, Joe Burrow. He was off a little bit. He was hurt. Timing was a little bit off. Basically buried them for the rest of the year. They're playing catch-up. They're not in a division where they have easy games, arguably the toughest division.
We're going to talk about it later.
Yeah, so you got your second-best offensive player behind Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I get where he's coming from when he says, yeah, you know, we deal with injuries all the time. But my response to that would be, yeah, in week 10 or 11, when you've had a guy who's gone through camp, who's played, you know, 9 weeks of football, and he's game ready, we're just resting him up a little bit. Now, all of a sudden, you're in, you know, week 1, and every game is a must-win for the Bengals if they want to win that division, because it's probably going to take 13 wins.
Right.
And you've got a guy that's, you know, just a split second off, hair off here or there. You know, we're not on the exact same page. It's going to affect the way they play. That's just the bottom line.
Let's take a look at the odds to win the Super Bowl. As always, they're powered by FanDuel. The favorites, you can see them. I want to focus on your favorite team, one of the teams you played for, Luke, the Detroit Lions. We know how you felt in the past about the Lions. Everybody's hyping up the Lions. You see where they are as far as the odds are concerned. And this one's going to come with some mixed feelings maybe, but are you actually buying into the Detroit Lions right now?
1,000%.
Yes, here we go.
I know there's no room left on the bandwagon, and I'm not asking to be on it, because if things go south, I'll be the first guy to jump off. But I got to be honest here. That's what I got to do.
Yeah.
If I'm doing the odds, they're number 2 behind Kansas City.
Wow.
I'm bumping them in front of San Fran, and I'm bumping them in front of Baltimore. I look at this Lions team, and I think to myself, you know, they kept all the major coaches they needed to.
Yep.
The players have bought in. The culture, Dan Campbell, clearly it's working. Last year, they're, as we spoke about on that desk over there, a couple of field goal decisions away from probably going to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Offensively, they are loaded. loaded, and Jahmyr Gibbs is going now into his second year, and I think he's going to be electric. He's got an incredible O-line. Jared Goff is playing like the player they drafted him to be, the Rams did years ago. Laporta's going into year 2. I mean, this team is loaded. It doesn't get much better offensively. And defensively, I think they got better.
Yeah.
Do I think they're an elite unit in the league? No, but I think they're better. And with that offense and the way the rules are kind of, in favor of offensive teams, I think the Lions should win the NFC. And I think that they should be right behind Kansas City on the FanDuel odds. I think the odds makers got it wrong.
I love it. I absolutely love it. As far as the AFC is concerned, like you brought up Baltimore.
Yeah.
You like their chances to come out of the AFC?
I think Baltimore, the very interesting thing is going to be Derrick Henry.
Right.
And, Derrick Henry is a bit up there in age, but I'm not buying that, Jay, because I think he's been buried on a team in Tennessee where he's had to do it. Now, all of a sudden, he comes to a team that has last year's MVP, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Always
he can
a great
make plays.
defense.
Yes, a great defense.
Yep.
A head coach who's been there, done that. And it's like, hey, yes, you can be the star in that team, but we have other stars. So I would love to see the role that Derrick Henry plays.
I love situations like that for a veteran.
Yes.
Right? He comes in, he doesn't have to do too much.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And he's fresh. Again, if things go south, you got Lamar there. It's not just on you, big dog.
Yep.
And I think that they'll be a very great team. It'll be tomorrow night will be an epic matchup.
I can't wait to see it.
But Kansas City is, you want to claim you're the best, you got to beat the best.
Do you feel like they've fallen off? Do you still like them?
I think that if you were to ask me right now, I know it's boring.
Yeah.
But they're my Super Bowl favorites. I think that on paper they reloaded. You got Chris Jones, who's an absolute game wrecker. I think Travis Kelce's motivated. There's some crazy rumors right now going around about his personal life. He's gonna be mad about that. And I think that Patrick Mahomes realizes how special this could be if they three-peat.
Nobody's ever done it.
Nobody's ever done it.
If you need some sort of motivation after everything they've won, there it is, right there.
I mean, they already are etched in, football history, but now you can really put that stamp like, this is the greatest 3-year run ever.
Yep, absolutely. Now, as for the Bills, and we haven't gotten to the Mafia yet.
Talk about the Bills.
A lot of changes this season. Most notably, Stefon Diggs takes off. He's gone. I want you to take a listen to Josh Allen after practice on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of new guys, new faces, and just trying to spread the wealth. I think the term that we've been using is everybody eats, and it's going to take all 11 guys on the field at any given time to make a play go. So that's kind of our mindset, and it doesn't really matter who gets the ball or when they get it. We're going to be happy for whatever we're doing out there and just trying to make the best play possible.
Feels like Josh is aging in reverse.
He does look kind of young there.
He looks pretty young.
And says things like everybody eats. That's a pretty young saying.
It's true. He's very Gen Z. So you've got Diggs out of the picture. Our buddy Peter Schrager from the NFL Network loves Khalil Shakir. Feels like he's going to be a breakout star this season for them. Can a guy like Shakir make up for all those lost passes that Diggs would have caught?
No. I think he can obviously be a great option on this team. And like you said, there's a lot of people in that camp. They're saying he's going to have a breakout year. Stefon Diggs is a generational talent.
Yeah.
But there is a big but here coming. Sometimes, and I've been in situations like this, when you have that guy and he's not fully bought in, or when he walks in the locker room, he literally makes everybody uncomfortable because you just don't know what's coming. You don't know about, the attitude, the effort, the enthusiasm. Yeah. Is he on board? Has he bought in? It's tough to play that way. It's tough to call plays as a coach that way. So is there a sense of, hey, Diggs is gone, a little bit of relief? Let's let our players all play.
Yep.
Everybody eats, as Josh Allen likes to say.
Yeah.
That could be a thing. And I think you saw that late in the year. Diggs down the stretch did not have great numbers, and Buffalo played very, very well still. And I think that was kind of the beginning of the end where you're like, you know what? We've got a guy in Josh Allen that is, one of, if not the best quarterbacks in the league. One of for me. But if you talk to David Sanchez, I would say he says the best.
There you go.
So I think they sit there and they say, hey, let's let Josh Allen play free. Let's get this kind of guy that he doesn't gel with out of here, and let's see how it goes.
And, the division is so fascinating as it is every year. put the Patriots aside. McDaniels reloading with Tua. And here comes Aaron Rodgers and the Jets.
I was hoping you'd ask me this.
Here comes Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. So do you believe the Bills can win this division?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about the Jets. Absolutely not. Do I think the Bills can win this division? No.
Oh, you believe
No.
the Jets have a better chance?
For sure.
Wow.
Listen, off-field antics aside,
Yeah.
I don't want to be labeled as anything. Let's talk about on the field.
Sure, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is that guy. You talk to anyone in the league, they will say Aaron Rodgers has got it.
He's 41 in December.
I know, but he's doing some crazy things on the offseason with his body, good or bad.
Yep.
If he stays healthy, he will be a premier quarterback in this league. I think with Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson,
Yeah.
they're rolling. I think Aaron Rodgers adds a huge dimension to that team, and the defense is good. So do I think the Bills will win the division? No, I don't. I think Miami, you said it, is going to be better. I think last year they were obviously great against poor teams, struggled against teams that were, good.
Yep.
But Tua, McDaniels, another year. I
Would
think
you have
it's gonna be
spent
very
that money
tough for
on
the Bills.
Tua? I know that was a contentious contract situation. At the end of the day, they're kind of handcuffed. They have to do it. They
And
have to
that's
bet
kind
on
of
it,
the
right?
thing with quarterbacks now. You look across the league, is when you got a guy like Tua, whether he's Patrick Mahomes or not, you got to pay him. Because as we just talked about the Jets, if you don't have a guy, you saw what their offense was last year.
Yep.
It was like, you'd rather watch paint dry.
Yep.
It was tough. Tua,
He's pretty
kinda fun to
exciting.
watch.
Yeah, he is very fun to watch. I like Tua a lot. I hope he does. I mean, with Tua, it's always the injuries, right? You hope he stays healthy. That's
Yes.
really what it's all about. Last year, the AFC North, 43 games won as a division. That's 8 more than any other division. It was a beast. You just talked about the division. This is the most amazing stat. Bengals win 9 games, they don't win the playoff.
Yes.
They don't get into the playoffs at all. In your mind, is the North still the toughest division in football right now, the AFC North?
Yes, the AFC North is definitely the toughest division in football. I think that the team that gets looked over there are the Browns. The Browns had a tremendous defense last year.
Yep.
And Joe Flacco came
scary.
in, not a dare. Yeah. There's a huge question mark at quarterback. Is Deshaun Watson going to be able to play a little better? But I think, especially, they say Nick Chubb will be coming back. That team is very good. The Ravens are incredible. The Bengals are good. We're going to see. They've kind of had a little ups and downs.
Yeah.
And any team coached by Mike Tomlin is going to be good. I learned my lesson, just like everyone does. A couple years ago, I thought the Steelers were terrible, but somehow Mike Tomlin finds a way for them to be good.
Such a good coach.
So that's a very tough division. But another division I think rivals it. This is going to, I think people will disagree with this one.
Could be a hot take.
Could
Get ready,
be a hot
everybody.
take.
Hot take graphics.
Is the NFC North. We just talked about the Lions.
Yep.
Loaded. You look at Green Bay. I mean, this team won a playoff game last year. As the year went on, looked great. They've bought into LaFleur's program. Jordan Love signed the huge ticket. They've got young receivers that have progressed and looked very, very good. You've got Josh Jacobs at running back. The defense is good. The Packers are a legit team this year. Now you go to the Bears.
This is going to be so fascinating.
Correct. I can't even believe I'm saying this.
This is wild.
So let me justify it. But
Let's hear
I
it.
think the Bears are going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Before you look at me like I'm crazy, Jay.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not looking at you like you're crazy. I actually agree.
Hear me out. They got a good defense.
Yep.
They had a very good defense last year. Some would say elite. Now all of a sudden you look at what they did. They got the youngster there, obviously a quarterback, but even a receiver.
Yes.
They bring in Keenan Allen. I mean, I think Cole Kmet, the tight end, is a stud. I think they have 2 great running backs, especially the young guy, Khalil.
Yep.
And Caleb Williams now can play as a rookie somewhat free.
Yep.
First off, he looked elite in preseason.
He looked great in the preseason. It's tantalizing
Correct.
because you don't know what you're really going to get, right?
Bingo.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to get, but the way I see it is like you have a run game to support him, and you have a defense to support him. What more can you ask for from a young quarterback? And you got a first-round draft pick at receiver, Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, and Cole Kmet at tight end. So you've got weapons all around him, and he can make plays with his feet. So do I expect him to be Peyton Manning dissecting defenses? No. But he's going to get a lot of ops, and I think it's going to be a very interesting team.
There's a reason that he was considered generational, that he was one of the highest touted quarterback talents to come out of the draft in a long, long time. There was no question who the Bears were taking first overall. They got rid of a guy they picked third overall just a few years ago just to draft him. The reigning MVP, though, is Lamar Jackson. Here's what's interesting. If you're a Lamar Jackson fan, and I know, Luke, you are a big Lamar Jackson guy. This seems disrespectful to me.
Yeah, I
That
agree.
far down the odds rankings for most valuable player this coming season. Hey, Mahomes is obviously always going to be up there. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, but surprised Lamar's that far down? And who do you personally like this season? Has someone jumped out for you?
You know, I am surprised Lamar's that far down. I get where it's coming from. I think a lot of it is the Derrick Henry situation.
Right.
You know, if they're within the 5-yard line, they're probably handing the ball off to the big fella and saying, get in there.
Yep.
Which will kind of lower some of the touchdowns. But if I had to say, again, this might be a little outrageous here, but I think that Jared Goff should be in the conversation as well.
I love it.
I mean,
he might have to play himself into it.
He might
right?
have to play himself into it, but it's like, how is he not on this list? Yes, they're going to run the football. I understand that. But this is an offense that can also throw the ball extremely well here, and he's got weapons around him. So I'm not saying he's my favorite. My favorite is Patrick Mahomes. But, I mean, anybody can sit here, put a tie on and say, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to win MVP.
Yeah.
But
right.
I think Jared Goff is poised to have a very big breakout year. Not breakout, better year.
I'm going to, we're going to save that clip, and when he wins MVP, we'll send it to him. And maybe we should just screen grab that list of the odds and send it to Lamar, because I feel like Lamar plays better when he's motivated.
I would highly agree with that statement.
So we'll think about doing that for Lamar. We got to wrap it up, but very quickly, you said Super Bowl pick, Chiefs?
I'm going to go Chiefs over Lions.
Okay. Okay.
I can't believe I just said that, but I got to be honest. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's no shame in that pick whatsoever. Niners don't tantalize you as much.
I get nervous.
Yeah.
Jay, and obviously I don't love the Niners, so there's some bias here.
Yeah.
But I have been in situations where, you know, when your best players hold out, as much as, you know, we want to be like, oh, yeah, it's great, it gets a bit awkward in the room, because week 3, when your best players are giving that speech about, like, hey, it's all about the team, like,
Yeah.
it's all about your brothers, you know?
Yeah.
Play for one another. It's like,
As their
bro.
new millions are falling out of their pockets.
You missed 5 weeks of camp.
Right.
Hey, you know, it's tough. It's tough to buy in. So again,
Yeah.
obviously they're a tremendous team, but I think there's maybe a little bit of turmoil in that locker room, and I think Detroit's going to win the NFC.
A lot of pressure on Kyle Shanahan, I think, this year.
A lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure on him. Luke's going to be back after the Thursday nighter between the Ravens and Chiefs to open the season. We're going to break down the game. We're going to have some laughs. We're just basically going to continue all the fun that we had last season.
I can't wait.
Thanks
Can't
for being
wait.
in here, buddy. This was so much fun. Really appreciate it.
Can't wait.